What's going on, Vault Hunters? Vanitas here. And we finally got the return of another Borderlands 3 Vault Hunter because Flack is officially coming back in Borderlands 4. But this isn't just some little cameo where Flack walks into a room, says a couple lines, and disappears. Flack is going to be one of the central characters of Borderlands 4 Story Pack 2, Flack and the Last Resort, which launches September 10th. And from what Gearbox has revealed so far, this DLC already has a really interesting setup. So today I want to talk about why Flack is on Kairos, what happened to Mr. Chu, the completely new setting we're going to be exploring, and why Tediore seems to be playing a major role in this story. And we'll briefly talk about the new Vault Hunter, Loveless, but I'm kind of saving most of that discussion for another video, because there is a lot I want to talk about with her. So Flack is back. So obviously the biggest news here is Flack. Flack was one of the 4 playable Vault Hunters from Borderlands 3. But this time around, they won't be returning as a playable character. Instead, Gearbox says Flack will be the focal point NPC of Story Pack 2. That's actually very similar to what Borderlands 4 already did with Amara and Zane, who both had major roles in the main campaign, even though we weren't playing as them anymore. So this seems to be Gearbox continuing that idea of taking the previous generation of Vault Hunters and allowing us to see what they've been doing since Borderlands 3. And apparently, quite a bit has changed with Flack. Gearbox has even teased that we're going to see how Flack has changed over the years since we last saw them. Even their appearance has changed a little bit, with Flack now wearing things like animal skulls and feathers as part of his hunting gear. So I'm really interested to see whether that's purely visual or whether Flack has changed as a character too. So why is Flack on Kairos? Now, this is probably the part that interests me the most, because Flack hasn't just randomly shown up on Kairos. He's still doing that, what Flack does best, the hunt. And this particular hunt is personal. Flack is searching for Mr. Chu, his skag companion from Borderlands 3, who has apparently gone missing. That immediately gives this DLC a different feeling from some of the other Borderlands stories. Flack isn't necessarily here looking for another vault. He's not here because somebody offered him a pile of money, and he's trying to find his missing companion. And if you played Flack in Borderlands 3, you know how important the relationship between Flack and his beast was. That's like basically his entire character. So I'm hoping Gearbox actually leans into that relationship. What happened to Mr. Chu? How did he end up on Kairos? Did somebody take him? Did he wander off chasing something? And most importantly, does Tediore have something to do with this disappearance? We don't know that last part yet, but considering where Flack's search leads him, I think it's definitely a question worth asking. Gearbox has only confirmed that Flack is tracking his missing skag companion. Anything beyond that is still speculation right now. So the Last Resort. This brings us to the setting, because I think this might end up being one of the coolest environments we've seen in Borderlands 4 so far. Flack's hunt takes us to what Gearbox describes as a volcanic, overgrown resort located on a lush jungle island. And I love that idea. You've basically got this old resort being swallowed up by jungle vegetation, sitting on a volcanic island. That's such a different environment from a lot of the areas we've already explored on Kairos. I'm hoping they really push the abandoned resort angle too. Old hotels, pools completely overtaken by vegetation, destroyed vacation areas, volcanic caves underneath the island, wildlife reclaiming everything. And considering Flack is the centerpiece of the story, putting the Beastmaster somewhere filled with jungle and wildlife feels extremely appropriate. The title Flack and the Last Resort is obviously playing with the idea of an actual resort, but I'm curious if Last Resort is going to have another meaning by the end of the story. Because this is Borderlands. There's probably something horrible waiting underneath the swimming pool. And Tediore is invading. Flack and Mr. Chu aren't the only thing happening on the island. Because while we're there, Tediore is invading. Gearbox specifically says that the Tediore Corporation is in the early stages of a covert invasion of the island. And that wording is interesting. Not an attack, not an open corporate war, a covert invasion. Meaning, Tediore apparently wants something here, and they don't want anybody knowing what they're doing. We don't currently know exactly what Tediore wants from this resort. Maybe they're after something underneath the island. Maybe there's old technology there. Maybe they're interested in the wildlife. Maybe Mr. Chu stumbled into something he wasn't supposed to. Right now, that's all speculation. But I really like seeing Tediore potentially getting a larger role. Tediore has always been the butt of a lot of jokes in Borderlands because they're basically known as the cheap disposable gun company. You literally throw your guns away to reload them. So seeing them involved in some kind of secret corporation or a corporate military operation could be really interesting. Especially if Story Pack 2 actually gives us a deeper look at Tediore as a corporation instead of just making them the joke manufacturer again. We kind of got a little bit of a good side of Tediore in New Tales from the Borderlands. I thought Tediore being the like bad guys in New Tales was actually the best part of New Tales. So I do like them as an enemy. I think they're really funny. But all Gearbox has officially confirmed for now is that their covert invasion is beginning on the same island Flack's hunt leads us to. And Loveless. There's also one other pretty massive thing happening September 10th. We're getting an entirely new playable Vault Hunter. Loveless the Hacker. But I'm purposely not going to get too deep into Loveless here. She actually deserves her own video because I want to go through her character, what we've seen of her abilities, her background, and what I think she's going to bring to Borderlands 4. So we'll save that one for later. Just know that September 10th isn't only giving us Flack's Story Pack, Loveless is arriving alongside it, as well as Bounty Pack 5 and the version 1.10 update. So, with my final thoughts, out of everything that they've announced, Flack and the Last Resort is probably what I'm most curious about right now. We're getting a returning Vault Hunter as the main NPC. Mr. Chu has disappeared. We're going to an overgrown volcanic resort in the middle of a jungle. And while all of this is happening, Tediore is secretly invading the island for reasons we don't fully understand yet. That's a really good setup for a Borderlands DLC, and I really hope that this becomes more than just, go find Mr. Chu, kill the Tediore guys, here's your loot. I want to learn what Flack has been doing since Borderlands 3, and I want Flack to actually have some character development. I want to know why Mr. Chu actually disappeared, and I definitely want to know what Tediore is doing on this island. Gearbox has already said they'll reveal more about Story Pack 2 in an upcoming devcast, so there's still quite a bit we don't know yet, and I'll try to cover that as well. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited to see Flack return? What do you think happened to Mr. Chu? And what the hell do you think Tediore is secretly doing on this island? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want more Borderlands 4 news, weapon guides, DLC coverage, and eventually my full breakdown of Loveless the Hacker, make sure you are subscribed. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.